Hello there, and good afternoon. I wanted to greet you in the park here and tell you more about what you can expect from Cuddle Sanctuary in the park. And for those of you who aren't in Southern California or near the Los Angeles area, I'm going to give you some details about maybe how you might bring a flavor of that into your world informally with a couple friends or just one cuddle buddy. So the inspiration. You might have seen that I did a Facebook Live maybe a month ago, and I was feeling quite agonized because I felt a pressure to put on cuddle events again. And my agonizing was happening in May and June, early June, because I was thinking about starting events in July. And I was agonizing because I didn't have the oomph to do it. I just wasn't feeling it, and I think I was frankly having some burnout. Even though it had been over a year since leading events, I was ready to empower others to lead events. So I've created all kinds of materials to inspire others to do so and start their cuddle communities. But I resisted the impulse to put on events because you want it, even though I care about you and your wellness. I just couldn't force myself. I couldn't do that. So why am I doing an event now? Weeks later, something shifted for me. I began feeling a craving for community, and frankly, I've been sitting with a lot of sadness and feeling disconnected and isolated. And I'm like, I need an event for me. It's good for me to lead. It's like wholesome for me to lead. It just happens to be something that makes me feel better if I'm in a crappy mood. And I made it easy for me. I chose to do it at a park and not pay for a venue. I chose to do it at a park and not have to decide if it's a vaccinated only event. I'm doing an event where anybody can choose to attend. I'm being transparent about that and how I'm going to run it, which I'll share with you in a moment. But those things, setting aside the need for it to be financially anything, setting aside my worries about the choices that I make impacting people's health and stuff like that. So I'm doing what's right for me, and I'm hoping it'll be right for you or you or you. Okay. So let me tell you more about what cuddle. Can you hear the what is it? A lawnmower? I hope that adds to I don't know if you can see the person. I hope that adds to it feeling like summer, which it is. We've got a lawnmower going in the not too far distant background here. All right, let me tell you about Cuddle Sanctuary in the park. It's going to happen in Santa Monica, California, this Sunday in the afternoon, and I'm going to be wearing a mask. I'm pretty sure, even just to start it out. I'll be wearing a Cuddle Sanctuary t-shirt, and everyone coming, I'm going to encourage you to be really mindful and careful and take your time communicating with each other about your boundaries. I just attended a group event on Sunday, and I noticed myself feeling some stress because some people are like, I'm vaccinated, I'm okay being hugged, and the truth is I'm vaccinated and I'm not okay being hugged. I still wanted, this is just my preference, I wanted 6 feet different distance from folks, and period. That's what I wanted, full stop. And that's what I noticed about myself on Sunday. Anyway, I'll be at this park and I'll be welcoming you. I'm asking folks to pay ahead, so it's sort of a paperless experience, and I'm doing it in a sliding scale kind of way, so it's easy to afford, and if even the $5 is sort of the lowest, and if that's my preference is $5 at the very minimum, but if you're struggling and you're like, even that's tough for me, to reach out to me. This is a community event, and I want those who want to be there to be able to be there. So we're going to begin with an opening circle, and people will be 6 feet away from each other. And I think there's going to be at least 10 people there, maybe even more. And so I'm going to ask people to be separated out. Now, if you are coming with somebody who's in your pod, somebody you regularly interact with face-to-face, who's in your household, for example, you can sit right together with that person if you choose. But I just want everyone knowing to know that the people who are close to each other are in each other's pods, and those of us who aren't. Okay, more. Now, I don't want us to be, scream to each other like, why are you at this event? Like that. And so that's why I'm welcoming you to bring earbuds if you have them. You can have sort of one earbud in your ear, and with your phone, you can dial in to a conference call number. Now, I know that might sound business-like, forgive me, but I'm not ready to get a sound system. I'm not ready to contact the parks and ask them to have a sound system for my little event with maybe 10 people. And so that's my hack, is that you could just plug in your earbud, dial into that free thing, and you'll be able to hear me. Also, folks, I haven't really talked about this much publicly, but I've had hearing loss. Like, I went to the doctor, or Kaiser Permanente. They tested my hearing sometime during this COVID adventure. And he said, the hearing testing dude said, well, you don't go to the doctor for no reason. And then he showed me this graph. He's like, this is where human hearing is. And then he shows me the midline. This is where talking resides. And then he shows me sort of this wave of problems. This is where your hearing problem is, meaning right in the wavelength of conversation. Add masks to it, and I'm constantly, you're going to see me probably do this. This is my ear trumpet 2.0. I'm having some asthma. If need be, I'll stop my Facebook Live and go home and take some drops, help me feel better. But usually if I just get really calm, just slow things down, everything calms down. Okay. So the opening circle is a way for us to look at each other, and 6 feet apart we can be without our masks. And I'm just saying, sort of at my event, my rules. And so I'm going to ask you that if this is sounding good for you, come. But if you're like, that's too limiting, then just wait for another event that suits your fancy. So that's an unmasked piece. And with using mute and unmute, you'll be able to share and see somebody across the way talk about what brings them to the event. You'll be able to be in the outdoor open air, and I welcome you or invite you to bring maybe a little extra layer, because if you're in the shade it can get cool, or a hat for the sun, sunscreen if you want to protect your skin, water bottle. I'm sitting right on the grass and it's getting itchy, but it's worth it. But you might want to bring a towel or a yoga mat or a beach chair, and there'll be opportunities to sort of move about, and so you might drag your beach chair to the next place or bring your blanket along with you. So be flexible. And then once we get to know each other, and while we're here, I'm going to guide us through an activity called Body and Breath, which is a favorite for so many people who attend Cuddle Sanctuary events. It's a chance for you to attune to your most important cuddle buddy that you have in your lifetime, which is you. It'll be a chance to breathe. It'll be a chance to connect with any tension you might feel in your body, or any wonderful feelings in your own physique, your own form. If you're having pain, just to connect with you and to connect with, I'm sort of patting it down here, the earth that you're, sitting on. It's important to do that because Cuddle Sanctuary, what you choose to do moment to moment, activities with people that you might be meeting for the first time, depends on, oh, it got quiet, thank goodness. It's about consent, and it's about deciding what you're okay with and what you're not okay with, and that requires you to be inhabiting your body, be with your body. So we're going to take that time to chill. Then we're going to do the activity called No Thank You. so that you, oh, thanks Grace for the hearing loss thing. I didn't know you were dealing with that. Then we're going to do a no thank you exercise, and that's a chance for us all to practice saying no. Because I'm going to be suggesting, or at least offering ideas that might feel a little silly. And especially in an outdoor environment, which is a park environment, which is public, you might be like, I'm a no to that. And I need you to be able to be honest. That's tough. That's tough work. Honest with yourself, honest with anybody I pair you with. So we're going to do some no thank yous. You can practice right now. It'll look something like this. I'm going to say, can I hug you? And then you say to me, no thanks. And then I'll say, thanks for letting me know. Can I hug you? Oh, thank you for letting me know. So we'll practice saying no. We'll practice being cool about it. Hey, Lindsay and Mark and Billy and Rich and Mark. It's wonderful to have you all here. All right. Then we're going to do an activity called paired practice. Maybe you could call it paired fun, but I like alliteration. And this will be, I think, the most fun, most interesting, delightful part of our time together. You will have the opportunity to pair with a couple different people at different times during the event. And you'll be able to choose whether you do a 6-foot distanced activity or an activity that may include more closeness. Now, at Cuddle Sanctuary events, that was already challenging, to meet somebody and say, oh, this is the kind of thing I want to do. What do you want to do? Like, it takes grown-up skills. But there's an extra piece to it, which is different people are going to have different tastes and needs relating to distance and closeness, and that might be choices about their health. And so I'm going to ask everybody to really bring a full heart and an open heart about the boundaries that people set. If they say, no, I prefer a further away thing, be cool about it. Experience it the way you experience it, and then you'll have a chance to pair with somebody else. So, what are some non-touch options? One of them is called the mirror game. You could stand, you could sit, and one person leads movement and the other person follows the movement. And for those of you who've ever taken drama class or improv class, it might remind you of something like that. It can get quite silly as you can do facial expressions and stuff like that. So it might take you out of your comfort zone, maybe in a way that's enjoyable. Another activity 6 feet apart is conversation. And I'm going to provide you, I have a link that's in the invitation for this event. And I'll even, say it to you. So those of you who have a smartphone, you can go click, 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 and go to it. And it's a link with really intriguing and fun questions. Chances are you'll have plenty to talk about without that. But if you, like me, like a little bit of structure or maybe feel like being playful, the questions are really cute. And you can ask each other questions and take turns doing that. So besides, the third activity with some distance besides conversation, and by the way, the conversation, you could be lying down and sort of 6 feet apart and sort of call over to each other. If you're comfortable, you can share each other's phone numbers, not required, but you can just call each other. Okay. The beauty of that, I know it's like, you're like, but it's a cuddle event. I don't want to call anybody. But the beauty of this is being able to see each other's faces in real time. I'm hoping that there'll be value in that for you. Folks, I'm working day to day in an environment that's masked. It's masked, and almost all day I'm wearing a shield. And it's not that I'm tired of seeing people in masks. It's like it's actually starting to hurt my feelings. Like somehow, I don't think we as humans were built to not see each other. I mean, I get that it's a safety thing. I get it. But it is wearing on me. And maybe you're like, gee, no duh. But for whatever reason, it's beginning to hit me in like a deep place in my biology that's like, something is terribly wrong. Took me a year and a half to get there, but I'm like, this isn't feeling right. All right, let's continue on. The third activity with no touch, some people call it eye gazing. It could simply be, but what I'm thinking about doing is doing it this way. let's say I'm partnering with somebody, I'm like, hey, is it okay if I look at you? And if so, are you open to me looking at you with the eye, or would you prefer I just look at your nose? Or like, I can ask the person, like, where can I look? Where is it okay to look? And vice versa. And you know what's on my mind about that is I recently saw, first of all, I'm trying to be much more attuned and inclusive. Not everybody has eyes. Not everybody has the eyesight to be able to do eye contact. I just saw a video recently about somebody whose eyes constantly move like that, and they feel deeply lonely because people don't know what to do. And he gave them the tip was to look at the eye that's looking at you, which means you'd have to keep moving to go along with what their eyes are doing. But with that tip, I know I could flow with that. I could work with that, you know? So point is, I'm gonna give you all the chance to ask, you know, where do you wanna be looked at? And also get a sense of where are you comfortable looking. But the point is, it can be quiet and simply just taking a person in. And that could be the third activity. I'm gonna do that right now. You know, I sometimes like to just do that with you. I was talking with somebody today about small talk. We were saying, you know, I have a couple people who are really close with me and then a lot of acquaintances. And he was saying the acquaintances, the conversation's so light. And I felt like it's like junk food when I want something nourishing. And oh my God, these squirrels are going nuts. I wish I could make it bigger for you to see. Can you see that? Oh, it's getting exciting. I hope one of them doesn't think I'm a tree and crawl on me. I'll freak out. Okay. To me, to be with somebody who maybe I've just met and to just be quiet and truly get a chance to just look at them, like look, it's nourishing. I've been at events with, you know, eye contact only with somebody, somebody is in front of me I've never met before, and I will just start crying because of the depth of what eye contact can do. Given all of that, public event, Sunday afternoon, maybe you don't feel like crying, but the point is that will be an option. So let's get to what the touch activities could be. Disclaimer, you gotta do what's right for you. I feel like I'm being kind of conservative, and yet there's a level of risk, and so let me just spit it out and tell you what those activities are that I'm suggesting for people regardless of their vaccination status. Okay. The first is footsie. Can be done with bare feet or socks. And I'm sort of going to do it right now, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe you'll see sort of like. Can you see my tootsies? I don't know. There they are. I took out measuring tape, my friends, and I measured from hip to toe. And it was more than, it was at least 3 feet. And I'm 5'3", just putting it out there. So Grace said, squirrel. So that means that if somebody's around my height possibly, and they stretch out their legs in front of them, we're 6 feet apart. I'm taking my hands and leaning back a little bit. And I could just have foot contact with the person and have some conversation, or just love being around them and just looking at stuff going on around. And frankly, I would find that really satisfying. So that's activity 1 option. Footsie, you could do that. And that one's 6 feet apart, and so I think I'm gonna say, if you're gonna do that one, you decide. You and your partner decide together if you prefer to be masked. And this is a rule. I'm just going to say it right now. If your partner is saying, I prefer a mask, that means you both are wearing a mask. And if you're like, I just don't want to wear a mask at this event, then you're going to need to do a non-touch activity further away with that person, or switch partners and come to me and I will sort it out. But the courtesy, there's courtesy at Cuddle events. There's new courtesies relating to this event because it's about our health. If somebody says, I prefer a mask, please do not judge them. They could have a compromised immune system. Please do not judge them. They could have somebody at home who fits one of the categories of people who need to be really careful and that their life depends upon not getting ill with COVID. So you don't need to know all of those details. Just know that if they're saying they need to be masked, then the touch activities are masked, okay, for you and that partner. And I thank you in advance for honoring that. Okay, second activity. I'm excited about this one. Okay, some of you who know the Cuddle Sutra, which is a book. Hey, Cameron, thank you for your That's Me. It sounds like you're saying that's me in terms of what your boundaries might be needing a mask. All right, Cuddle Sutra has a position called the comfy couch. Now, this is one where a person might be seated just like I am. I'm seated on the grass, okay? The other person is curled up on the grass, in this case on the grass. And they're curled around the person who's seated. Now, typically the comfy couch is done and both people, their faces would be facing the same direction. Because that person's sort of curled around the seated person's body. Kind of like that. We would be doing the reverse comfy couch, which means the person who's lying down will be kind of back to back with the person who's seated, maybe butt to butt a little bit, but you could sort of figure out where you want to lie down, the person who's down. And what you will find is a connection sort of in the back part of the body for both of you. So we're not going to be doing sitting back to back, which is a favorite in typical Cuddle Sanctuary days. So this is a back to back type of activity that allows for the faces, and this to me is like, this is the danger. The faces with the respiration is happening here, but your partner is in the total other direction. Low battery. If I disappear, nothing has happened to me, just the battery went down. But the person's face is in a whole other direction and at a different level. Think about it, and you decide if that's something you would even want to try. That one, masks required for both parties. Now, in your personal life, you could be like, nope, I don't need that. But at this Cuddle Sanctuary event where it's like, I have sort of this not on my watch attitude, so I'm being a little conservative. That's my line in the sand. Your line might be, I'm not doing that. My line is, if you do that, please be masked. And when I say please, I'm saying be masked. Okay. All right. Dan Graff says, why is judgment so judgmental? Think about it. All right, let me tell you about the third activity, hopefully before the battery runs out on my phone. This one's hilarious. I'm gonna call it the amazing pillow. One person lies on their belly. They create some space between their knees, and then the other person sits between their knees and then lies down with their head on the first person's buttocks. So it's really silly, extremely comfortable, and once again, one person's face is in this direction, several feet away from the other person. Head is lying down on the most wonderful, amazing pillow, breathing in another direction. This one, if you do it, once again, would be masked and at your own risk. There you go. There it is. So, for those of you who are coming with somebody in your pandemic pod, you are welcome to pair up and do other cuddly things that are closer. But I will make it clear, I'm saying it now and I'll say it at the event just so there's no confusion, that those people are pod buddies, pandemic podsters. Okay, after we do these lovely activities, I will be, as typical for paired practice at Cuddle Sanctuary events, give you a chance to practice with one person, and then you get to pair up with somebody else and decide again what you're going to do and honor each other's boundaries. And you can always choose one activity, try another, maybe get creative, because you have a flavor now of something from a distance. Maybe you'll want to go off and play tag. like a game of tag. My point is then eventually we'll come back together and do a closing circle. It's a 90-minute event from soup to nuts. Please come. You can come early and enjoy the park. I'm going to start on time, and you can ask questions here in the comments. You can reach out to me. Butt pillow. That is a Dan DeGraff wants to rename Amazing Pillow to something else. I like comedy, Dan, and I like to call it the Amazing Pillow and then have people discover what it is once it's demonstrated. That's my sense of humor, but butt pillow is simply more descriptive. All right, I've enjoyed talking with you, and I've enjoyed everybody who's interacted and who will choose to interact in the future. I'm hoping that those of you who are not in the Southern California area might get some ideas about what you might do in the park, maybe this Sunday, maybe tomorrow, who knows. And maybe those of you who are local, maybe you want to take a drive, come to Santa Monica, California on Sunday. Make it a special occasion, make it a day trip. Come on down. You'll see this event on Facebook and Meetup. And I look forward to seeing you there or hearing about your adventures. Goodbye. Take care. Trying to finish this.